Hey guys, welcome back to Coaster Brothers. In today's video, we're doing a review of Emperor, a fairly new B&M dive that opened at Seaworld San Diego back in March. And I've got to say, Emperor is one of the most intense B&M dive coasters I have been on. While it is only 150 feet tall, this thing is crazy. It delivers so much force. You just go through those inversions so quickly. It's just such a fast and well-paced roller coaster. So, let's begin our first category. Starting things off with height, Emperor stands at 153 feet, which is not very tall for B&M dive coasters. Most B&M dive coasters are around 200 feet. For example, Valraven is at 230 feet, SheiKra is 200 feet. I'm not sure how tall Griffin is, but I know it's around 200 feet as well. And Yukon Striker, like 230 feet. You get the point, guys. Most B&M dive coasters are taller than this. However, Emperor is not. But that is not a bad thing, guys. In fact, this coaster, Emperor, is more intense than all of those dive coasters. That's because of the pacing on this thing. So, height, usually I'd be saying this isn't that great of a height for Emperor, and it really isn't the best height, but because of that pacing and all of that throughout the entire coaster, height, it really isn't too bad, so I'm going to be giving an 8 for Emperor's height. Now with speed, another non-impressive thing. Emperor travels at 60 miles per hour, which really isn't that fast, but it holds that speed through the entire duration of the coaster. It never lets up. It just feels like it literally never lets up. And while Emperor is really short, it's over before you know it, guys, but that speed is just held up for so long throughout this coaster, and that 60 miles per hour actually feels faster than 60 miles per hour. It feels like it's 70 or even 80, at least the times that I went. So I'm going to be giving another 8 for speed. And it's the same with the drop, guys. The drop is not as big as all the other dive coasters, but I feel like the whip on this drop is stronger than the other dive coasters. Now, the restraints on this thing, which we're not in that category yet, are a little restrictive on this drop. You still get airtime on that drop, no matter what row you're in, especially the back. You're going to get a lot of airtime on the drop. And what I say for most dive coasters, the drop is a 10, guys. Now for airtime. Now, Emperor doesn't really deliver any airtime other than on the drop. So if you're in the back row, you're going to get airtime on the drop. Even with the restrictive vest restraints, you're going to get airtime. If you're not stapled, you're going to get airtime on the drop. But that's really the only area of the coaster that you get airtime. You don't really get any airtime throughout the rest of the coaster, and that's because dive coasters don't really focus on airtime, especially Emperor. Emperor focuses on the speed and the inversions. So, while this may seem like a bad score, keep in mind that this is just the score for this category, simply because it doesn't rely on airtime. So I'm going to be giving a 5. Now we're on to inversions. Emperor has 3 inversions. Those are the Immelman, the barrel roll, and the corkscrew. This is a pretty good collection of inversions. I love the corkscrew, I love the barrel roll, and I love the Immelman. See, normally I don't enjoy corkscrews. With the B&M over-the-shoulder restraints, the classic ones, I get a lot of headbanging on corkscrews. Same with aerodynamics coasters, Vekomas, any roller coaster I go on that has uncomfortable over-the-shoulder restraints, really bulky, and you go through a corkscrew, it's often a headbanging moment. However, with the vest restraints, that's not the case. So it delivers some good forces. Same with the barrel roll, I just love it. And especially the Immelman, it's a great kickoff to start a ride after the drop. And overall, I really like these inversions, the classic B&M dive coaster inversions. And I really like it. It's a great collection of them. So I'll be giving an 8. Now we'll be talking about the overall layout. So, of course, the gates open, and then you dispatch out of the station, going straight into a turn to the right. And you just do a full turn. So now you're facing the opposite direction you were coming out. You go up the lift hill. This is a 153-foot lift hill. So you reach the top of that 153-foot peak. And let me just say, guys, on the way up, you build up a lot of anticipation. This is actually a pretty quick lift hill. And it's also really quiet as well. You don't really hear it. Then once you reach the top, you get a great view of the bay, San Diego. And you do another turn, this time to the left. So you're facing opposite the lift hill. Then you get a great view of the ocean ahead of you, the park, the bay. And then the holding brake faces you down. You're just facing straight down that 90-degree vertical drop. And then you drop. If you're in the back row, you're going to get some good airtime. Then you go into the pretty forceful Immelman. And then you go up, down, into an overbank turn. And then into the barrel roll. You go a turn to the right into the corkscrew. And then another right turn into the brake run. So it is a pretty short layout. It goes by really fast. After that drop, it's really fast. Go through the layout pretty fast, and it definitely packs a punch for a pretty small layout, for a pretty small coaster. I love the inversions. It has some crazy intensity. Front row is obviously the best. So I am going to be giving a 9. Our next category is smoothness. And obviously, guys, you're going to be expecting a smooth ride on Emperor. This is brand new. It's just literally just opened. It was built around 2020, I think. I'm not completely sure. But it hasn't been around for a long time. And it is just buttery smooth. I don't remember any rough moments on Emperor. I do remember it being a tiny bit rattly at times, but nothing to affect the ride. So a 10. Our next category is restraints. Now, the Emperor restraints are the same restraints that they have on most modern-day B&M dive coasters, and that's the B&M Vest restraint. The train has 3 rows, each row containing 6 seats for 6 riders, which is pretty small for a dive coaster. Usually dive coasters have 8 to 10 seats in each row. 6 seats, that's pretty low. So most dive coasters don't have that many seats. They usually have more than that. But most people don't like the B&M Vest restraints. I personally don't mind them. They aren't really uncomfortable, but they are kind of restrictive and usually restrict airtime and don't make you feel as open. But on Emperor, that's not really the case. And I'm completely fine with these restraints, so they could be a little better, so I'm going to be giving a 9. Now we're going to be talking about Emperor's operations. Now, when I went, Emperor had some very, very, very outstanding operations. I went on Easter Sunday, which was 2 weeks ago, guys. So I went to Seaworld San Diego 2 weeks ago and rode Emperor. And on that day, they were doing at one point 30-second dispatches, which is outstanding. I've seen better operations than that, but that is just crazy. Getting those trains out in 30 seconds, the record was 25 seconds that they did a dispatch, which is just crazy to think about. Like, that is just insane. Very, very, very outstanding operation, SeaWorld San Diego. Like, great job. I don't know about other days, but that was just outstanding when I went. So I'm going to be giving a 10. Alright, now for our final category, and that is theming. Now, Emperor does have a theme, but SeaWorld San Diego doesn't do that great of a job to execute that theme and to really give it feeling. Emperor is themed to the Emperor Penguin, which the Emperor Penguin is supposed to be like a penguin that dives through like the ice into like the Arctic waters, which I see why they chose a dive coaster for that. It was a good idea. But there really is no theming other than that entrance sign, which shows like an iceberg, and then it shows Emperor, and then it shows the penguin diving. That's really it. There are some signs in the line, in the queue area, which there actually isn't that big of a queue area. But if you're waiting in line, there's nothing really that you're going to be looking around at. There's no foliage or anything. So there really is just no theme. There's just these posters that tell you about the emperor penguin and how you can help SeaWorld to like donate to organizations that help save the emperor penguins and preserve their habitat and stuff. But other than that, there's really no theme for emperor. It has a theme, but there really is no theming to that theme. So I am going to be giving a 4. So what is the final score for Emperor at SeaWorld San Diego? The final score is 8.5. Now, dive coasters are not my favorite coasters ever. I prefer Airtime. I love Airtime, Ejector Airtime, and there really isn't any on any B&M dives. But I do find this coaster pretty intense, pretty forceful. I really do like the inversions, but since dive coasters aren't my coaster preference, it's not really that getting like a perfect score. 8.5, don't get me wrong, guys, is still a really good score. That's just my opinion for this roller coaster. So if you guys enjoyed this roller coaster review, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, and definitely like the video. If you have ridden Emperor at SeaWorld San Diego, let me know what you think of this coaster. And as always, guys, stay on the thrill side of life.